number 6. So in the previous video we did till question number 5. So now first question, find the range of f of x. Now f of x is given to be 3 minus x divided by x plus 1. Now x is not equal to minus 1. uh, to figure out the range, we need to know what is the horizontal asymptote. So we get horizontal asymptote. How do we get horizontal asymptote? When we divide the coefficient of the numerator x and the coefficient of the denominator x, that is minus 1 divided by 1. So y is equal to, when y is equal to negative 1, we get the horizontal asymptote. That means the curve at minus 1, at this minus 1, the curve doesn't meet this. So there is no value at x, y is equal to minus 1. So the curve will go something like this. X equal to minus 1. So the curve goes something like this. So we don't have y is equal to minus 1. So y is equal to, from the set of real numbers. So the domain is set of real numbers minus the negative 1. So this is the range. Next, sketch the graph y is equal to f of x. We have done this. Then find the inverse function of f of x in the form this. So we have to find the inverse in this form. So first step, y is equal to 3 minus x divided by x plus 1. Now first step, take this entire thing here. So y into plus 1 is equal to 3 minus x. So xy plus y is equal to 3 minus x. So bring x terms one side. So you have xy plus x is equal to 3 minus y. So x into bracket y plus 1, 3 minus y. So x is equal to 3 minus y divided by x, y plus 1. So interchange x and y and write this x as f inverse of x. So 3 minus x divided by x plus 1. Now for this, look at this function and this function. They are exactly equal. So where we started, we end up at the same place. Okay. Now domain is when x, for what value of x does not exist, x equal to minus 1 does not exist, that is the domain. Range is the same thing, y cannot be minus 1. So this is domain and range. Next part of the question, yeah, that is the only thing you have to find out. Hope this graph you understood properly. If you didn't understand, I'll explain this again. So y cannot be negative 1. So y cannot be negative 1. Negative 1 is here, and x cannot be negative 1. So I draw a dotted lines for this. Here as well as here. Fine. So this was your x-axis and y-axis. So x cannot be negative 1 and y cannot be negative 1. Now when x is 0, y will be 3. Put x equal to 0 in this equation. In this equation, 3 minus x divided by x plus 1. When x is 0, y will be 3. X is 0, y will be 3. So the curve passes through this point, and when y is 0, x equal to 3. So the curve passes through this point. So your curve goes something like this. It'll keep going like this. Now the same way it goes from the other side as well. So it does not touch this line and this line. So this is your curve. Next, let's go to the seventh question. No. Seventh question. The function is defined as two separate entities. So one is 5 minus x when x is less than 0. The other one is p into e to the power negative x when x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Now first part they are asking, when now given that p is 3, find the range of f of x. Okay. So the function is 5 minus x and 3 into e to the power negative x. Now, uh, 5 minus x, this is a linear equation. When x is less than 0, when x is less than 0, the function is a straight line whose slope is negative 1. So the negative 1 slope is something like this and it cuts at 5. Cut from this side, it is a line from here up to infinity to this place. Then when it is greater than or equal to 0, the function is here, it starts from here, and e to the power negative x. E to the power negative x is a curve which goes like this, which will be parallel to this. So uh, this is here, this will be shaded here. So what all values of y cannot be possible? One second, this line is not exactly right. The line is like this. Yeah, negative 1 axis, this one. Yeah, this is the line. So y values can be anything between negative infinity to 5. 5 is not, along with 3. 3 is included. T to 0, 0 is not including. So this is the output of y. This is the range for the function. Next part, the domain for the inverse function. Now, domain for the inverse function. So for first part, y is equal to 5 minus x. So x is equal to 5 minus y. So x is f inverse of x, which is 5 minus x, same as the original function. Now for the second part, y is equal to 3 e to the power negative x. So x is equal to 3 e to the power negative y. Subject to x first step. So y divided by 3 is equal to e to the power negative x. So ln, natural ln. I divide by 3 is equal to negative of x is equal to x, or x is equal to ln of 3 divided by y. So the inverse function is ln of 3 divided by x. Now domain for this, from negative infinity to 0, anything value you can take for x. For greater than 0, x cannot be 0. So 0, it cannot include 0, 0 to any value above this. This is the domain function for this question. Now the function p, find the value for p which the function is continuous. If the for the function to be continuous, the p has to be exactly meeting this and this. There should not be a jump here. So the p value has to be 5 so that the function to be continuous. Okay, so p is equal to 5, the function will become continuous. Next, eighth question. Now function f of x is given by root of x minus 2, and g of x is given by x square plus x. Now they are asking find f of g of x. Find f of g of x. Now look at the innermost function. You can write it this way as well. So the innermost function is g of x, which is x square plus x. F of x square plus x. Now f of x is this. In place of x, you have to write this entire thing. So square root of x square plus x minus 2. Now we can factorize this as, so we end up getting x plus 2 into x minus 1. Now look at this. This has to be, this two things has to be greater than 0. Okay, so root should always be positive, right? So x plus 2 into x minus 1 should be greater than 0. So how do we make that? So mark the points 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2. So now from this you get x equal to minus 2. So mark this here. And from this you get x equal to 1. Mark that on this. So from this side you write plus, minus, and plus. So where all is positive, that region is required. Where all is negative, that is not required. So from negative infinity to 2 is required region. 2 can be included along with positive 1 to infinity. This infinity cannot be included. So that is the answer. No, the question is to find except the region, that means it between minus 2 to plus 1, the function is not continuous. So in this region is except, everything else is including. For this reason it is not possible. Now calculate the value of a and b, minus 2 and 1. Find the range of f of g. So what is the possible output from this? So square root will always give a positive answer from 0, anywhere between 0 to infinity. That is a function of x.